So my name's Brad Beal. I grew up on a small dairy farm in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. As I graduated from high school, my dad encouraged me to find something else to do outside the dairy business. Diversify yourself, because it's what he did, it's what my grandfather did. They all worked off the farm for 10 years before they came back. At that time in my life, I was young. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I liked engineering, I liked equipment, so I ventured off to Penn State University, where I achieved a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, later finished with the master's degree in mechanical engineering, and went out into the industrial gas business. So I worked in oil and gas for 14 years. I got to travel the world. I got to do a lot of exciting things with a lot of big equipment. I can remember often being away from home, being in a hotel room somewhere in Asia, and thinking about home, thinking about these cows. The dairy just sticks with someone. If you're born with it, it is really hard to shake it. And I was not able to shake it. I started dreaming about what it would look like to come back to and be part of our family's dairy farm. So 2009, I started having conversations with my family. We made a move. We moved back onto the farm. We were able to start helping with milking chores and becoming actively involved. And very quickly, at that time in my life, I knew that I didn't want to do it the same way that the 4 generations before me milked cows. Bending down in a tie stall barn for every cleaning of teat, for every attachment, for every detachment. I still remember, 15 years ago, listening to my dad's knees squeaked. When he would move his knees, they would squeak like a worn out bearing. And I knew that that's not where I wanted to be, midlife, or even at the end of my life, thinking about knee replacements and all those physical things. So we started looking at robots, and as a family, we looked at robots. We looked at all the different brands of robots. We visited a lot of farms. We talked to a lot of farm families, trying to understand their successes and understand their struggles. And one of the things that we gravitated to was the Galaxy robot used the standard off-the-shelf industrial robot arm. It's the same robot arm that's in our automotive plants. It's the same robot arm that's at the battery plant right near our farm. It's the same robot arm that I was using in my engineering job for 14 years. These robot arms are around. They're welding, they're painting. It uses that standard arm and puts it in a milking application. It puts a laser and a camera and a gripper block on it, so we can attach cows just like my dad and I did in our tie stall barn. For us, it was a way that we could control our operating costs and have the highest profitability of our dairy. In 2011, we began milking with the Galaxy robot, and I made a shift from working for an industrial gas company to becoming a full-time dairy farmer. The most exciting part was I had a lot of free time. And with that free time, I had the opportunity to start working for AMS Galaxy. And during that time, I got to help farmers with concept barn designs. I got to help them with training. I got to help them solve technical problems. I got to help them find success with handling their cows, feeding their cows, and making the most production and profit. And all of those little pieces was the foundation for what gave me the passion to be in this business today. Little by little, I got more involved in AMS Galaxy and realized that my role and where I was going to end up was not going to be just to wear the dairy farm hat my whole entire life. And so now the best part about my job is when I wake up in the morning, I put on my muck boots and I get to walk through the barn and I get to interact with my cows and I get to look, at all the same things that every dairy farmer does. I get to check the rumination deviations, I get to check the milk deviations, and I get to be a herd manager. And then very quickly, I get on to changing my shirt, and instead of just my 125 cows, now I have thousands and thousands of cows of my own that belong to our customers, because our customers are part of our family, and everybody at AMS Galaxy treats your cows like our cows. In spring of 2017, AMS Galaxy came to a bit of a crossroads with our founder looking towards retirement, and I was looking at the rest of my career. Do I want to be a dairy farmer mixed with an engineer, or do I want to be all in? In 2017, my wife and I decided to be all in. and we chose to take on majority ownership of AMS Galaxy USA. As a dairy farmer myself, I know one thing to be true, and that's this life is not easy. We go through 7 days a week, and sometimes some really tough months where there's nonstop 16+ hour days. As a farmer, I love what I do. And so sometimes it's even hard to peel me off that tractor seat to get to that event that my wife wants me to go to. Because I know that I got to get that crop in on time, and we want to get the best feed quality. But as I've grown older and I've watched my kids grow up, I realized that it's not just about me anymore. I have to meet the needs and the desires of my family, and robotic milking has allowed me to make so many more things than I would have otherwise. Because I don't have to be in this barn at 3:30 in the afternoon to start feeding and 4:30 to start milking. If that soccer game's at 4:30, I'm gonna be there. And yes, I'm gonna have to come back to the barn later and do those chores, or maybe I do them earlier, but precision dairy technology from AMS Galaxy has allowed me to make the events that matter to my wife and kids. Every year, we find more and more success. Our farmers are producing more and more milk at lower input costs and improving their profitability. We want to bring those solutions to your farm so you can see the excitement, the profit, and the flexibility of life that this product has to offer.